Welcome to the Indian Head Park Board of Trustees meeting for the October 9th, 2025. Can you please say roll, please?
Trustee Iannacco. Trustee Saldana.
Here.
Trustee Eck.
Here.
Trustee Donnersberger.
Here.
Trustee Svetka.
Here.
Trustee Gazis.
Here.
President Amy Jo Wittenberg.
Here, can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. During my report this evening, I would like to invite the chief to come up and please swear in one of our new, actually, he's not new to us. He's been working part-time in the Village of Indian Head Park, but now he will be full-time. And Chief, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Also known as Tassel. Tassel is a proud graduate of Marist High School, another one, so that makes three. Yeah. He's also retired from Westmont PD. Then he went and got into family business for a while. Miss Policing, his good friend and training officer, Scott Muska, who also works here, recommended that he comes and work at Indian Head Park. He got here as a part-timer. He liked it. He did a literal interview. We selected him to be a full-time officer. So he brings a lot of experience and a lot of know-how to the job. On my honor.
On my honor.
I will never betray my badge.
I will never betray my badge.
My integrity.
My integrity.
Or the community I serve.
Or the community I serve.
I will always hold myself and others.
I will always hold myself and others
Accountable for our actions.
accountable for our actions.
I will always uphold the Constitution.
I will always uphold the Constitution,
The laws of the state of Illinois.
the laws of the state of Illinois,
And the ordinances of the Village of Indian Head Park.
and the ordinances of the Village of Indian Head Park.
I will faithfully discharge my duties
I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a police officer for the Village of Indian Head Park
as a police officer for the Village of Indian Head Park
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just real quick, I'd like to thank everybody, the village, police, fire commissioners, Chief Walsh. I know they tried to get me here from the day I started, so finally I pulled the trigger. Also, I'd like to thank my family. I have my wife, Sophia, my oldest daughter, Stephanie, and my son, Zafidi. I have a daughter that's a senior at Champaign right now. This one just graduated from Paul, and she's at North Central Graduate School, so you can see why I had to unretire. But no, I really appreciate the opportunity. I did miss it. It's a good department, a lot smaller than what I came through from Westmont after 22 years. So I appreciate the opportunity. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome back, and thank you. And it's great to see your family. Thank you for coming this evening.
Good. And Willis, come on up too. You guys come up with us. I can't be strong if I don't get married. Mr. Gazis, you want to get in for who's commissioner? Degree commissioner. Degree. We'll get out of the picture.
Yeah. We do have a big Greek contingent in town, too. All right, moving. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming this evening. If you all would like to stay for our meeting, that would be great, or you can leave and go celebrate. Can go celebrate or watch the Cubs game. Thank you. If we can move on to item number 4, the consent agenda, can I have a motion, please?
Make the motion. I move approval of the consent agenda, items A through E. Can I amend the motion as I stated in my email?
Yes.
And receive and file items from October 27, 2020, December 22 of 2020 of F, the Shed Fence Committee minutes, and approve the committee minutes of January 21, 2025.
I'll second that.
I'd also like to have removed A and AC, and you were talking about F, right? On there.
Yeah, I made the motion to receive and file 2 of the items and approve the 3rd one.
Yeah. I'd like to separately discuss A and C.
Okay, so we're taking them out of the consent agenda? Is that what you're saying?
Please.
A and C? Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna amend my motion to approve items B, D, and E, receive and file October 27, 2020, and December 22, 2020 committee minutes, and approve the January 21, 2025.
I'll
And I
second
will
that.
second.
I think we need to make a correction to that last one, the January 21st one. The 2025 is incorrect. It should be 2021.
Okay,
Right.
then receive and file all 3 of them, please.
And so it would be receive and file all 3
Yeah,
of
just
those.
receive and file all of the committee minutes.
I'll second that.
Great. And I do believe that we need a treasurer's report. Is that correct? Real quick. From our treasurer.
The financial summary for the month ending September 2025. Cash on hand at the beginning of the month, August 31st, 2025, was $3,031,956.87. The payments for September 2025 were $443,930.67. The total revenues for September of 2025 were $459,701.08. Sorry. Making an ending bank balance at September 30th of 2025 of $3,047,727.28.
Any other questions on the consent agenda items? Do we have?
On A, in terms
I
of
thought we had to.
No, we're gonna approve.
We have to pull them out.
So
Right. So we have to wait until they're in new business, correct?
well, what you would do is proceed on the remaining
The
items on the
others.
consent agenda. And then you could consider items A and
Mhm.
B. And C separately.
Gavin, is this part of the treasurer's report?
It's part of the financial reports that were provided in the packet, yes.
Are we discussing this at this time? Because I have one question.
We haven't voted yet.
I think you need to vote on the items that were remaining on the consent agenda, then we'll get to the ones that you pulled.
Alrighty, hearing none, then can we please have a roll call vote for the consent agenda? Without items A and
C.
C.
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Svetka,
Aye.
Trustee Gazis.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Now we could be considering item A, trustee,
Minutes.
the minutes?
Just looking for a vote on the minutes.
Can I have a motion, please, to entertain item A, please? Motion to approve.
I'm not going to approve it.
Move to approve the regular meeting minutes of September 11, 2025.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion on item A.
No discussion on my part other than what I've said previously. They're way too long, and yeah, you might as well just attach a recording for the minutes. So I'm not going to approve the minutes.
Okay, I guess, well, we've already discussed this, that this is going to be the new processes that we're going with. So then I guess we'll need to do this every time then? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll ask for that to be separated. Yes.
You can just vote no
Correct.
without separating the item.
Well, I'm voting yes on the other ones.
You can actually bifurcate your vote without separating them.
Because it's being approved as part of an omnibus or consent agenda, it's a little bit difficult to keep track of the individual votes because the vote is to approve the consent agenda. So if you wanted to dissent these two, you could have that reflected in the minutes, but it wouldn't necessarily reflect that as a vote. So in order to truly reflect a no vote, it would need to be considered as a separate item.
And that's what we've started down this path now. Yeah. Okay.
But they're not, what I'm saying is the minutes reflect the meeting. So why would you vote no for that? It has nothing to do with whether you agree with the process. It has to do with, does it reflect the meeting accurately? Yes or no? I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you.
So does a recording.
I'm
do that
asking you
accurately.
to,
And
I'm asking you to approve.
Too accurate.
I am not
No.
asking your opinion about the minutes. I'm asking you, do they reflect the accuracy of the meeting? That's what I'm asking you, Trustee Neck. We're not having a deliberation on the process, and we're not having a deliberation on the length of them. Are they accurate? That's the discussion.
Are you going to allow me to vote no? That's all I'm going to do. You want to further discuss this?
If yes,
It's
we're
way
voting
too- it's
no
way too
means
long.
that they're
If
not
that's what you want
accurate.
to start talking about, it's way too long.
I'm not asking you that. We are asking that as
That's
a
how I'm
public
responding to your
body, are
question.
they accurate? Yes or no?
Madam President, I have a question.
Yes.
Doesn't separating the items at every single meeting goes against our rules that we put in the consent agenda, the items that are for consent, and therefore we would need a motion to set aside our rules to separate the items to begin with. And that motion can fail if everybody votes against it. And that's it. That solves the problem.
So
Because-
if I may, I understand what your question is, and you should have been a lawyer. You'd been a good trial attorney. Yeah, the minutes accurately reflect. I am uncomfortable with doing it this long. I will vote for them because of what, you just pointed out. But I'm just uncomfortable with them being this long.
Okay. So we understand. Now we're going to have a vote on the minutes then. Can we have a roll call vote to approve the minutes?
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
No.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Svetka,
Aye.
Trustee Gazzis.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
Alrighty, moving on to item C. Trustee Eck, you had a question on the approval of, we need to have a motion to approve the preliminary financial report, please.
Do we have to have a motion to?
Oh,
approve
yes,
it?
because you
Okay.
separated it.
Yeah, move for approving C, which is the financial report for September 30th. So I'm moving that it be approved.
You want to second that?
Second.
Alrighty,
Okay.
questions?
Yeah. There was a 10-page report with financial detail on there. And I just want to ask a question on the first page. This covers the period from May through September, which is 5 months. That's roughly 41% of the year. And if we look at the first page, which represents revenue, it shows $3,546,000 and change, 33%. And I would expect something around 41%, given that it's 5 months. And the difference, because that number appears to be understated.
I would say that a large portion of that is due to the fact that we have not received the second installment of taxes, property taxes. The bills have not gone out from Cook County yet to taxpayers, so we await that. The latest I've heard is there'll be the bills will be going out in late December with a due date of January of 26. So.
Thank you.
It's possible that somebody from the county knows more about that due date and that it's further.
2026, not January 26th. They go out on December 1st and are due on January 1st of 2026.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
That's all I have.
Any other? Alrighty, can we please have a roll call vote to approve the financial report?
Trustee Saldana.
Aye.
Trustee Eck.
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger.
Aye.
Trustee Svetka.
Aye.
Trustee Gaza.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, can we please have?
Madam President, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Before we move on. Sorry, and this is directed to Board Member Eck. I noticed that the financial report was 10 pages long, and our board meeting minutes are 15 pages. So, like, where do we draw the line? Is it 12 pages? I mean, I'm sorry to dwell on this, but as someone who lives in data every day, 15 pages is nothing. And I would rather have all of the data. So I just confused that I'm thrilled that you took the time to read through the 10 pages of numbers. Can you read through the 15 pages of words? I mean, I'm sorry, but can we consider that for next time so we can all be a little bit more quick in going through things?
Thank you for your observation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, trustee. We will now move on to new business. Item G.
Madam President, I move approval of Resolution 2025-29, approving the landscape management services agreement with Beery Landscaping.
Second that.
Any questions on the agreement with Berry Landscaping?
I do have a question. 30 seconds or less, Joe. What areas are Berry covering in the village?
Well, not having a map in hand to tell every spot, but they do our parks, they do our building here, they do the village hall building. There's a couple of strips and stretches of area that are in our scope behind the pump house. Just off the top of my head, it's basically our properties. The Point, Plainfield, and Wolf. Heritage Center, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sacagawea. Correct. Correct. Yep. I can get you a detailed map if you'd like. You sure? Okay.
And I was looking in there, I believe in the attachment, there's a more detailed explanation of the exact areas, but there's not a map.
I can get you whatever you need. And for the record, they did keep pricing from last year.
I did notice that they did keep pricing, and I do think I would agree with Public Works. I brought attention to it because I do believe that is a more than fair rate for the coverage that they provide in all those areas. Some of us that do have landscaping services in the community, and I'm sure Charlie can opine as well as Eileen regarding associations, I think for $25,000 for 8 months, even the spring cleanup, the fall cleanup, et cetera, et cetera. It seems like we're getting a good bang for our buck on that contract.
And they're going above and beyond. I mean, I could tell you they just do this and that, but they ask us, is there anything else we could do to help you out? And if we need something from them, an extra cut or something like that, they'd be more than happy to do it.
Alrighty, any other questions on the Berry contract for landscape management services? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Saldana.
Aye.
Trustee Eck.
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger.
Aye.
Trustee Svetka.
Aye.
Trustee Gazus.
Aye.
5-0, the motion carries.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Can we move along to the
Next.
next item, please?
Next item. Madam President, I move approval of ordinance 2025-19, which sets the time and date of the public hearing for the Triangle Area Redevelopment Plan, the TIF District.
I'll second that.
Great, thank you. And I will turn this over to Mr. Gavin Morgan, who has a presentation.
Before you all discuss and vote on the ordinance setting the time and date of the public hearing for the TIF district, I just wanted to give a brief overview of the Triangle Area TIF district. And just to make clear, this is not a decision on whether to establish the TIF district or not. This is just a decision on whether or when and where to schedule the public hearing, after which the board will consider whether or not to establish the Triangle Area TIF district. And I also see this as a kickoff of the public education campaign portion of the TIF district, establishing a TIF district, so that we're giving the public an opportunity to hear what the TIF district is all about and to give us feedback and to ask any questions. I know there are a lot of questions out there. But through this presentation, I'm going to lay out the purpose and the mechanics of the proposed TIF district in the Triangle. As I've stated before, or has been stated before, both by our consultants and by our staff, our goal is to provide transparency, invite informed community decision, and create the type of development in this area that will be most beneficial to the village and to the community as a whole. As I said, our purpose tonight, you've got before you the ordinance under consideration to set the public hearing date. This is the beginning of the education campaign, and I will address common questions such as, what is a TIF district? So TIF, or tax increment financing, is a tool used across Illinois to fund redevelopment. It works by freezing the tax base and capturing future growth and property value, known as the increment, which can then be used to reinvest in public improvements within the district. This does not raise property taxes for the district or for the community as a whole. It does not, it's also not a development plan in itself, the TIF plan. It has some goals of reaching a certain level of value at the end of the TIF district, but it's not a plan necessarily for how we're going to get from where it is today, which is a value of an equalized assessed value of all the properties in this district, in the proposed district, is currently 5.1 million as of the last known data. And the goal is, after 23 years, that this area will be worth 45 million. That's going to depend on a lot of factors, including how aggressively and how completely we encourage development in that area. So what TIF really is at the bottom line is, it's a financial mechanism that the village can use to stimulate and guide redevelopment that aligns with the community's goals. And that's a very important piece of it. It's going to, whatever we do there, we're going to go through a deliberate and intentional process to make sure that it aligns with the goals that this board has, based on what your understanding of the community's needs and wants and priorities are. As you all know, the Triangle has seen redevelopment attempts over the years. I think some of the members of our Economic Development Committee have come to meetings before this board and said, We've tried a lot of things. They haven't worked. Let's try the TIF. Despite interest over the years, over the 2 years I've been here, there's been a couple of parties interested in doing development there. Progress has pretty much stalled, I'd say. The TIF provides us with a dedicated funding mechanism to support necessary infrastructure and attract reinvestment in that area without raising taxes. It also gives us more control to guide development, and that development that is consistent with community values. So how does TIF work? Here's the basic mechanism. The base EAV is frozen in the year the TIF is created. So as I said, that would be 5.1 million approximately by the time this gets established, because we're looking at a date of January 8th, at the January 8th board meeting, actually having the board vote on whether or not to establish the TIF. That's of the year 2026. So it will be frozen at the EAV, the 2025 EAV. Any growth above that base is captured and then set aside in a special fund. That fund is used to pay for improvements inside the TIF district, things like roads, utilities, or site work needed to attract development. What the TIF does not do, there are a lot of myths about TIFs. You've probably heard some of them. And it's important to be clear that TIF does not raise property taxes. I think there was comment when it was discussed at the business, when you were approving the business development district, the comment from the audience was that this will raise property taxes. That did not raise property taxes. That was focused on sales taxes, and the TIF district also will not raise property taxes. It doesn't take away money from schools or parks. The existing revenue is protected. Schools will still be able to levy the amount that they need to operate, and they will still receive that amount through Cook County and the collection of property taxes, assuming that Cook County is able to get the property tax bills out. But the point is that it doesn't take away money from the school districts. It doesn't take away money from the park district, the fire protection district, or any of the other taxing bodies. Their revenue is protected. It doesn't eliminate any transparency requirements. Everything that is done in the TIF, we have to report out on, whether that's to the state comptroller or there's an annual joint review board, also called a JRB, that reviews everything that has happened in the TIF district for the past year. We're also required, also tonight, you'll be considering an ordinance to establish an interested parties registry, and anybody that signs up for that, any updates or any information about things happening in the TIF district, we have to send to those who have signed up on the interested parties list. But we will also do everything in our power to make sure that anything that's being considered or talked about in the TIF district gets, the word gets out through our website, through our Facebook page, through any channels that we have. It will be discussed at board meetings. I think one of the questions Trustee Eck asked at a previous meeting was, would any developments or money that's being spent there have to come before the board again? And yes, it would. We wouldn't be able to just randomly spend the TIF dollars without bringing that to the board. It does not, it also doesn't guarantee funding going to any one party or any private entity. It's often people will say, well, this is just a corporate handout, and it is far from that. The only things it can be spent on are public improvements. We can use some of the funds to incentivize private development, or we could establish a private-public partnership. There are a lot of ways that we can go about creating development or in getting development to happen, inspiring development. But in the end, the village and the board still have full control of the funding. It is still public funding. It's not a corporate handout. Some of the eligible uses of TIF funds. TIF funds can be used for a range of eligible public purposes, including planning and engineering studies, marketing studies, infrastructure improvements, environmental cleanup, site preparation, the purchase of property. Those are all eligible for TIF funds. And these are exactly the kinds of efforts that we need in order to unlock the development potential at this site. So we will use these to the extent that we can. A variety of strategies allowed by the law for spending these funds on. As I said earlier about oversight, transparency, and accountability, the law requires annual financial reporting. It requires a public hearing to establish the TIF, and it requires the creation of a joint review board, which is made up of representatives from the local taxing bodies like schools, park districts, the fire protection district, the county, the College of DuPage, the mosquito abatement district is also part of that. And it's a public meeting. The public will be notified of the meeting and the location and is welcome to attend. TIF spending is limited to the projects and goals identified in the redevelopment plan, which must be adopted by ordinance. And again, that's what you're doing tonight is approving the ordinance setting the date and time of the public hearing, which will be December 11th, 2025. And then we anticipate the board voting on the TIF district at the January 8th meeting, again, by ordinance. I want to get into a little bit of the scenarios that I've included in the presentation. I'm going to show charts with 3 different projections for how much TIF revenue could be generated by the TIF district. We're going to have a baseline, a conservative, and an aggressive scenario. These are not forecasts. What you see here does not guarantee the performance of the TIF. They are scenarios to help us plan under different assumptions. And I want to note that chasing the highest TIF revenue isn't necessarily the point of these. The point is to understand the range of possibilities and plan accordingly. I want to first talk about the assumptions behind the scenarios. All the scenarios are based on the same assumptions: a starting EAV of 5.1 million that I mentioned, a tax rate of 7%, which is typical for us and for Cook County. And by 7%, I mean the total tax bill. So when you add up all of the taxing bodies that a property owner is paying to, it's about 7%. Another assumption is the full build out over the 23-year lifespan of the TIF. The main variable in the difference between these 3 tables is how quickly development happens and at what scale development happens. Again, these scenarios are tools for decision making, not promises, not predictions. And I want to emphasize that the goal ultimately is to encourage the right development for the village based on the board's overall goals and priorities. So here in the first scenario, in all of these scenarios, the gray portion represents 5.1 million. So the current EAV of that, and then the blue bars above that represent the increment, which grows over time as the value of the equalized assessed value of the properties in the TIF district increases because of the reinvestment and the development. So you see it goes up and the increment gets greater, and all of those funds represented in the blue portion of the lines goes into the TIF fund to finance further development. Excuse me. And those are funds that can be reinvested. And this just helps contextualize how performance may vary. So that first one was kind of a steady investment, starting with year one and building up over time. This is a second scenario where it takes a little time to get things off the ground, which is entirely possible. We're looking at not a lot of growth for the first 10 years, and then it ramps up over time. And then there's a more aggressive version where we're hitting investment early on, and it just grows over time. And you see the difference between the three. The most aggressive version would see a total over the 23 years of almost $40 million of TIF funds revenue. The least aggressive version would show 23 million. So there is quite a range. And again, it all depends on how aggressively it develops and how successful we are and how early we are successful in developing it. Any questions at this point? I've got a few more slides to go.
The numbers have confused me, and you and I have had some conversations, and I want to share one conversation as well, is if you look at the list of properties that total that 5,116,000, that list came from the last report that we had from the people that did the first TIF report for us. And it lists the properties and the PIN numbers. And when you look at the assessor's record, on the assessor's record is a value, but it's not an EAV value. It's what they say is the market value. How is there a difference between what you see on the assessor's page versus what a EAV is?
So the assessor starts with the assessed value, as you said, and let's say that was $100,000. They then, in Cook County, if it is a vacant property or a residential property, it's the assessed value is then 10% of that. If it's a commercial property, it's 25%. So let's take that 100,000, say it's a residential property, or let's just say it's a vacant property because we're going to redevelop that. And its value is 100,000. The assessed value is 10% of that, so 10,000. And then they apply the equalizer or the multiplier, which is usually around 3. And they multiply the 10,000 by 3 and get 30,000, and that is the equalized assessed value. And that number comes from the state, the equalizer, every year. And the purpose of the equalizer is to make sure that because Cook County, the assessed value is so low, 10% in that case, in order to kind of equalize it across the whole state, they multiply it by 3.
Thank you.
So that results in the EAV, and that's how we get to 5.1 million, even though those properties' market values are higher than that.
It's actually 10.9 in the assessor's record if you add each one.
About double,
Yeah.
or more than double.
That number has no bearing on this situation. So we only use EAV.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So I just want to clarify that the assumption that the property tax bill will not go up is a little bit deceiving. The property tax bill is calculated, and every 3 years the assessor recalculates the value of the properties. So the property tax bill then goes through the process of creating the EAV and then multiplied by the rate based on what Indian Head Park and all of the taxing entities are requesting. What the TIF does is that we capture the difference as the village. But the bill will still, every triennial, the assessor is gonna reassess. They're gonna go through the normal process. And so the way the property taxes would have grown normally will continue growing normally, and we capture the difference. So yes, the TIF does not impact that calculation by adding more to it, but also it does not reduce it. We capture the difference.
I do think it's important to clarify that I'm not saying that property taxes aren't going to go
Aren't
up.
gonna go up. They're gonna go up,
I will never say that.
but not because of the
But
TIF.
but
They're
they
not
won't
gonna go up because of the TIF.
They're going to go up regardless of whether we have a TIF district or
Exactly.
not.
Just wanted to clarify because you said,
Yeah, that
taxes
is,
are not gonna go up. No,
that
they are.
is a good, they're not
Not
going to go up because of the TIF.
Exactly. Thank
Well,
you.
I would
Correct.
pile on to that. If the TIF is really successful, we would expect that the property values would go up, therefore the EAV would go up, therefore we would capture. In your aggressive scenario, you know, if your taxes are going up, the value of property is going up, and it's being reinvested right back to you, back to the district, which again, if we do it correctly, not that you ever want your taxes to go up, but a successful TIF
Exactly.
would result in property values increasing.
But also those property values in a commercial area are increasing the sales, are increasing the income to the owners of those businesses. So the point is to bring more business and more sales and more tourism and more everything. So everybody benefits. That's the point.
And ultimately, studies show that as these areas develop and get more valuable, those surrounding areas also will become more valuable. So I'm sorry, but if this is successful, your property taxes will go up too.
They go up.
May. So, but not because of not because of what we're doing necessarily, but because the value of your property goes up. And the calculation, bless you, the tax rate is calculated by dividing all of the levies of all of the taxing bodies by the total EAV of the area that's being taxed.
Well, and additionally, the taxing bodies that are worried about losing taxes because they're frozen, in fact, they may be losing them if we don't do anything because the area is so blighted, the taxes could go down.
Exactly. That's correct. And in this scenario, in all of these scenarios, you know, one question comes up: what if it goes the wrong direction and the value of the district actually decreases in EAV? If that is the case, the taxing bodies will still get whatever they levy. They will still get that from the taxing district. What won't happen is that there won't be anything added to the TIF fund. There won't be an increment. So
Not right away.
right.
So all we're voting on now is the December meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Just wanted to talk about a few more points real quick. So over time, we have options throughout the life of the TIF. If the district performs better than expected, the village can declare a surplus of funds in the TIF district and distribute those to schools and to the other taxing bodies. We could also end the TIF district early if our goals are met. We can also amend the plan if any priorities change. If there is, let's say, for example, we build housing there and there's a big impact on schools because a lot of students move into the housing, we could make an arrangement where we distribute some funds to counter that. If you do distribute any of the excess funds to any of the taxing bodies, you have to distribute it to all the taxing bodies. So it would be distributed in a proportional manner. So if your percentage of the tax bill is 30%, you'll get 30% of whatever's dispersed. If your portion of the tax bill is 2.5%, you'll get 2.5%. The taxing district will. Some of the things that we can do to ensure that the TIF achieves its goal and does go up in value over the 23 years is take a strategic approach. As has been talked about before, past efforts didn't yield the results we would hope for. Now we have a chance to engage professionals, consultants to help us with the planning, phasing, and implementation of a redevelopment plan. TIF funds can be used for this kind of upfront analysis, helping the village make smart decisions so that we can line things up and create an environment where this kind of development will happen effectively. One of those things that we would do, one of those first steps we would take is look at the 2018 vision that was created and approved by the board several years ago in 2018. That laid an important foundation, but conditions, of course, have changed since then. We'll be updating that vision in collaboration with the community and with support from planning professionals and market analysis professionals and the Economic Development Committee, which is very strong here. It's a good resource, good help for these efforts. The updated vision will guide what kinds of development we prioritize and how we use the TIF resources to support it. What happens after the TIF expires? So once the TIF expires, whether that's 23 years from now or earlier, all new property value is returned to the regular tax rolls, benefiting schools, parks, and all of the taxing bodies. It would be considered new property in that first year that it comes off the tax rolls. And under the state's tax cap law, they would be able, all of those districts would be able to capture that new value, that TIF value as new value. So they could increase their levy above what they normally would be capped at because it's new growth, and that doesn't fall under the tax cap. Any unused TIF funds at the end of the TIF would be distributed again on a proportional basis to all of the taxing bodies. So next steps, as I mentioned tonight, the board will consider the setting the public hearing date and also establishing the interested parties list, the registry. We expect the joint review board to meet in October, followed by the public hearing in December and a final decision by the board in January. Throughout this process, we'll continue with community engagement, listening sessions, and fact sharing. We will put up a lot of information on our website and make sure that people are aware of that. I've met this week with the superintendents and finance folks at District 204 and at District 107. Next week, I'm meeting with the Fire Protection District and the Park District just to talk about, to hear some of their concerns and to address some of those and to make sure that they know the schedule of things and what we're trying to accomplish with the TIF district and what our goals are. And President Wittenberg has been reaching out to her counterparts at the taxing bodies as well. So thanks for your time and for your questions. And I look forward to getting any feedback. Again, we'll have a couple of months after tonight to have more conversations around this, and I'm sure we'll get some questions from the public. And that's all. If there's any other questions.
Madam
right now.
President, when do we start promoting the hearing? Are we ready to start promoting it right away?
Yes, we actually will get out. We've already gotten the notice out to the paper, and it'll be published as legal notice, but we'll be sending out notices of the Joint Review Board to all the taxing bodies as soon as tomorrow.
Thank you.
Very busy couple weeks. There's a detailed schedule that Andres has and has to keep up with all of the filing and notices that have to go out. Any questions?
And this presentation will be up on our website tomorrow.
Roll call vote.
Can we please, if there are no other questions, can we please have a roll call vote for item H, please?
Trustee Saldana.
Aye.
Trustee Eck.
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger.
Aye.
Trustee Svetka.
Aye.
Trustee Gazus.
Aye.
5-0, the motion carries.
Thank you.
I think that's your schedule. That's in your package there.
Can we move on now to item I, please? Consideration of ordinance 2025-20.
Move approval of ordinance 2025-20, the registry of interested parties, which is an item related to the previous item.
Second.
So this will be, as I explained in the presentation, this will be for anybody who is interested in getting updates about the TIF district, including all of the taxing bodies, residents. We will also send out notices to any residential addresses within 750 feet of the triangle property. I'm not sure if that includes the folks living at the cemetery or not, but that is within 750 feet. But and then all the taxing bodies and those property owners within the district. Anybody I'm not thinking of that will be notified.
Any questions on item I? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote?
Trustee Saldana.
Aye.
Trustee Eck.
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger.
Aye.
Trustee Svetka.
Aye.
Trustee Gazus.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Moving right along to item J, consideration and approval of ordinance 2025-21 for our one-day liquor license.
Move approval of ordinance 2025-21, which grants a one-day liquor license for our event coming up.
Second.
I can. So I was mentioning it to our visitors tonight. We are having a Ghouls and Goblins event at Black Hawk Park, which is right in back here, for our children and our residents and adults that will also want to enjoy a drink, a beer or wine at the event and food. We're having pizza, and Mexican food truck is coming to visit us. We're going to have a jumpy and a couple of different options for the children to play. We're hoping that the chief will lead our Halloween parade, if he's available, or one of our officers, and have a great day. Hopefully it'll be great weather, and we can enjoy being together as a community. We will have some of our businesses setting up tables to also give treats to the children and provide any little incentives to our community or let them know about their businesses. So we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be hopefully a beautiful day. So that's why we're doing this one-day liquor license. Any questions? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Saldana.
Aye.
Trustee Gazus. Sorry,
Aye.
excuse me.
Aye.
Trustee Eck. Sorry. I was reading my thing.
You should call me.
So, Trustee Eck.
Aye.
Sorry, just to be clear. Trustee Donnersberger.
Aye.
Trustee Svetka.
Aye.
Trustee Gazus.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Thank you. Now we're moving on to public comments. Would anybody like to come to the podium and make any public comments? Would you like to? Okay, Amy.
This is really just kind of a question. I know that the village has talked about a franchise for garbage services. Can we get an update on where that process is?
That will happen during the manager's report.
Oh,
Thank you.
What was the question?
Did you want to take a moment? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mark Brasher. My wife Sandra Brasher is here, and this is Randy Spears. The three of us are going to be partners on we're buying the Willow Hill, and we're going to rename it to the Golden Century Cafe. We're going to put new awnings on the outside. We're painting the entire inside, and we're taking up the nasty carpet that's down there, and we're putting a nice floor in there. If you've ever seen that carpeting. And we plan to change the menu a little bit, not a lot, just a couple of things. And then we're looking forward to getting it going, but we close on the 20th. We're gonna close for a week, and then we're gonna open after we've get everything ready, get it all ready, all the repairs done and everything that we want to do. And then we plan to have a week where we'll run, and then we plan to do right now a grand opening a week after that. And we'll have a we're gonna give free coffee and pop for 5 weekdays to have that grand opening.
Nice.
So, and also any police officers that show up at the restaurant in uniform, we give a 30% discount to.
And a donut.
So, and we do plan, we're going to join the Chamber of Commerce and everything else along with it. We plan to be definitely a part of the community. And you'll like the look of the restaurant. It's going to be really sharp, really nice.
Oh, good.
Can I ask you a question just for those who are newer to the community? Where is it located?
It's right on Joliet Road at, I don't know what street. Tony's grocery store is right across the street.
Yes.
We're in the plaza on this side.
Yes.
Next to the, Walgreens right
Where
there.
the UPS is.
Yes.
If you give us the information, perhaps we can put it online on our website too, that you're opening there, and what all the details of the grand opening and all.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome. We're happy to have
And-
you.
Thank you.
And bring flyers at the October 25th Ghouls and Goblins, because you're going to open right after.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Not a
people,
problem.
yeah, people will know.
I'd already planned on that as soon as we heard it. My wife was telling me we're going to be doing that. I said, okay.
A quick comment. My family and I used to go there and eat like at least once a week, probably twice a week prior to the last management change.
Yeah, the last 3 years.
Super
I believe it
happy
is.
to hear that you guys are coming in and going to refurb it. My family loved going there. So
It'd be a beautiful restaurant inside when you see it.
I'm very excited to hear that. So welcome.
It's
Thank
going to
you.
have even new plates, new silverware, new cups, everything, glasses, the whole shot.
Thank you.
There's not gonna be
Welcome.
a camera.
Thank you.
Just going to speak briefly. I'm the restaurant entrepreneur. I'm the one that's been in this business, in restaurant business, for 44 years. Okay. Right now, I have a total of 3 restaurants. I got 2 restaurants and a banquet hall I'm building. And Mark and Sandra are my customers. They're very, very valuable people and become very good friends. We're coming in, and like you said, with the TIF district and with the businesses in the area. I own a restaurant on 2843 West 63rd Street. It's a pizzeria. It's a 17,000 square foot pizzeria, and it's the 3rd largest in the nation back in 2003 as an independent. But unfortunately, like with businesses, without businesses in the neighborhood is done. Right now, I'm sitting on 2 blocks. Each side of each block is 30 lots in the city of Chicago, which is 60 lots. And the only one left is my business, which I'm on 7 lots. So we're coming into, one thing excited me about this area and this neighborhood was it's like Midlothian. When I moved into Midlothian 17 years ago, it was basically what we have right now at the Willow Restaurant. It was not maintained, it was just a horrible eyesore for the city of Midlothian. Today, we have Bellamia Banquet Hall, which is probably around over $1 million invested. And we have built Burcott's, which is right next door, which is a $5.5 million investment. So bringing people into the community, strong businesses into the community, like you said in the TIF district, you touched on it, it only adds to the area around it, okay? Around something that is prosperous, bringing 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 people a day into the area, then the other businesses around it want to gravitate towards that location, okay? And that's very, very important to me. I will be coming to the city with some issues that I have and Mark has with the area, to where I'll need your support, because I can only do so much as a business owner. And if somebody or someone or some neighbor is not holding up to their standards of this neighborhood should be, then I would hope that the city would help me with that. Okay, there's a lot of times the city just says, well, that's not, nothing we can do about it. Well, that's not the case, okay? And we will be coming to you and saying, as all of us work together as a team, we can be very, and believe me, this restaurant, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Bella Mia, but Bella Mia is the largest independent, excuse me, the largest Italian restaurant in the south suburbs. It's the #1 restaurant. Go online to Open Tables and you'll see a 4.9 stars. That's what we're bringing to this restaurant here. I personally have no, I mean, these are my good friends. These are their life. They're going to be there. And like I told this gentleman here, when you have businesses in the area that are not maintained by the owners and they're absentee owners, you got a problem. And my dear friends here will be there. I'll only be there 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Sundays. And we walk the tables, we shake the hands, we buy the coffee, we take care of the seniors, we bring them in. And if you ever go to Bella Mia, you'll see we run outside and pick up the seniors. Seniors are our past, and our future is like you're doing with the kids. Okay, we support that also. Okay, so if there's anything that we can do with donations, with fundraising, because we close at 3 o'clock, so it's always a good thing to do that. And our doors, Mark and Sandra doors are always open. My door is always open. If you have any questions or you want to know anything about us, just please let us know, because we're excited. I was one of the founders of Bourbon Street. I myself and 3 other partners built Bourbon Street, and so one of the reasons we were so successful in I'm no longer involved in it, but because it was a neighborhood, a small community, and a small community really appreciates Lake Midlothian, a company that comes in and invests quite a bit of money into the community, okay, because it can only make the community better. And when you have a lot of taxes coming in from revenue from businesses, it can only help your property taxes, okay? When you don't have any revenue coming in from businesses, well, we all know what property taxes will do. They have to get the money from somewhere, and unfortunately, it's usually the seniors or the people that are living from day to day, okay? So we are a family, and we are a business, and we are very community orientated. That's so important that you have to understand that. Whatever you need, you know, my door and Mark and Sandra doors are open, and whatever for the kids, for the Christmas parade, I asked the gentleman, Gavin, if you have something like this, and he, not so much right now. Okay, so I'm excited. They're excited, and we're going to put a lot of money into that restaurant. And the restaurant, Mark, what is the name of the restaurant down the street that you took me to? Honey Jam. Honey Jam. Okay. Um, don't get me wrong, a beautiful restaurant, but they're not going to have anything on the Golden Century Cafe. And we're going to bring people into the neighborhood. We're going to bring people into the mall, and we're going to bring people to this wonderful city. Hopefully, it's a wonderful city. We don't know. I don't know. I can only look at what I see in front of me today. But I've been in Midlothian for 17 years. And when I came into Midlothian, it was, a little bit tough. We had a bloodbath bar that I took over. We had St. Vincent de Paul, which is a wonderful charity. And we had a grocery store that was on its last leg. And Mr. Burkotz came in to me and said, Randy, what do you plan on doing here? We're not going to put all this money in this mall if you plan on leaving. And then we got another bar here that's absentee owners that's going to have trouble, fighting, shootings, and all that. We don't want that. We don't want that stuff. No, I'm here for good. So I took over 2 stalls. I got 16, about 17,000 square foot of the banquet hall and the restaurant. And Burkotz has got about 65,000 square foot. And we bring a lot of people into the neighborhood. So I'm excited, and I don't know, and Mark and Sandra, they're wonderful people, else I wouldn't be standing here in front of you, because God only knows I don't need another restaurant. I got enough on my plate right now, but they're going to be your family, and I'm going to be their family. Okay,
Well, I'm
thank
really
you.
familiar with Bourbon Street, so if you can replicate that kind of business here, it'll be great.
It would be, I mean, I would love to, but it's like a woman's shoe store and a men's shoe store. They're two totally different businesses.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
We do have, Bourbon Street does a lot. We will have a lot with charity events because we close at 3 o'clock. So, somebody has cancer or something like that, they're looking for a place for their event. And I'm sure Mark and Sandra will agree with me. our doors would always be open. You can call the mayor of Midlothian, the mayor of Tinley Park. I used to own a bar called Holstein's in Tinley Park. What a city, Chicago, but you don't want to call that over. It's what you can get. There's a lot of, you know, and I'm definitely serious. We are a family-owned and operated business. We're not an absentee owner. And I told Galvin, I can't see his name, but I told him right when I stood in front of him, I said, when you've got a business that's an absentee owner and it's a bar or a restaurant, you got a problem. Because nobody at that front door cares more about that business than the owner. And I'm at Bellamia. This is actually unusual for me not to be there. I'm sure there's a few people looking for me right now. Because I'm there from 7 in the morning till 8 at night, and they're gonna be there from 7 in the morning till probably 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And they're gonna watch the business, and they're gonna watch, and they're gonna clean, we're gonna clean the mall. We're gonna make sure the garbage is, I mean, we went there, 3 weeks ago, and the garbage was overflowing. Garbage all over the ground. And I asked the gentleman, a very nice man, I says, sir, why would you allow the garbage? What's going on with the garbage in the front? And his response to me, quote, well, every once in a while I have the bus will go out and clean it up. End quote. So every once in a while. I said, there's 75 ash bucks in the top of this garbage can. When I'm walking, like you said, I can't see your name, but the lovely lady, she used to go there all the time. It's a great area. It's a wonderful area. And I guarantee you, within 6 months, we'll have a line out the door. Because we're gonna know how to operate it. We're gonna be generally concerned. And we're gonna clean the parking lot. If the landlord doesn't want to clean the parking lot or fix the sidewalks, we'll fix it, we'll take it out of the rest. It's just that simple. We're not gonna argue, we're not gonna, the sidewalk in front of there, Mark and Sandra, when you walk into the restaurant, it's all busted up. Okay, now when a senior walks there with a walker and tries to go over that, well, that's a lawsuit for me, that's a lawsuit for the landlord, could be very well lawsuit for the city. We don't need that. We need that fixed, period. That should be the first thing that's fixed for somebody to fall and hurt themselves, you know, and it's just ignored, and it's not gonna be ignored with us.
So, thank you for all of that. We really appreciate your feedback this evening and your energy of bringing the business into Indian Head Park. So thank you. Passion, energy, all of that. We appreciate that. And any or all issues that you have, please feel free to talk to Gavin Morgan and Andres. I certainly can identify with some of your comments about the sidewalk and the garbage. I've recently been there and thought the exact same thing. So hopefully we can work through the issues that we can control and help you prod and poke other people for other issues and make sure that we have a great environment for business in Indian Head Park.
The key word is we all have to work together.
Yes.
What it's going to be in the future is just like Midlothian. Just take a ride over there one day and look at the beautiful flowers out front. There's hundreds of flowers out front. Beautiful flowers out front. Over in front of this restaurant, the dandelions. Dandelions in the flower beds. I mean, come on. I mean, this is just, you know, I called Mark up one night. I'm not interested in this. Just look at the garbage. 7 garbage cans overflowing. This is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. This is disgusting. And he said he's going to handle it. And we called that landlord up and he handled it. So it's a we. Like I told the mayor of Gary, I said, it's a we. It's not a me. You know, I'm not there for the money. We're there. I mean, they make a living. I make a living.
So the interesting thing about the mall right now, just so you know, and I think I mentioned this to you when we were talking, there's a new business, Chuck's Auto Body, that just came within the last month or two. Great people. Family business. Yes. Yeah. Very nice people. Super energetic and passionate, very similar to your feelings. And then the new owners of Milano Day Spa. Again, family-owned business. So I think it'd be proactive yourselves. I think I mentioned to you guys when you have the chance to go introduce yourselves. And I believe Chuck's is coming to the Ghouls and Goblins Fest. I'm not sure about Milano Day Spa. So, you know, whatever we can do to, help facilitate. We do have some events in our business economic development committee where we get people together. We've had 2 such events this last year. talking about social media. We had a little party here at Village Hall to get our business owners together. We'll be doing that this fall, I'm hoping. So we will include you and you can meet. Usually we have 5 or 6 people show up. It's not a huge group. So usually we get about a third of the business owners to come. Many are very busy and busy during the dinner time. So maybe we can do a breakfast at your new place and have it there. And then invite everybody to come. And you can meet the owners that are both at your retail area and then down at Joliet and Wolf.
I do have a question. Your liquor license is totally irrelevant to me, but it's irrelevant for businesses around. What is the license time? I asked Galvin, it wasn't really, what is the time?
The hours?
The hours of operation for liquors in the event park?
Andres, do you want to? You did change it a couple years ago, so I don't want to.
There aren't any set hours on them. It's usually what's in the district, and oftentimes when we provide a liquor license, it is to the hours that the business is currently operating. So it's not specific, but it's more tailored to each business.
You don't have a 4 o'clock license, my direct opinion. Some of you don't have a 4 o'clock license. 4 in the morning.
No.
4 in the morning, yeah, because that's, the reason I asked that is
No,
because
we don't.
the later the license, the more the problems, you know, and.
No, we agree.
Yeah, it's something that, that's very important to me. So I'm excited. I think, Mark and Sandra are wonderful people. I wouldn't be sitting here if they weren't. And, you'll see, and they'll walk the floor, we'll shake their hands and everything. You have to vote.
Okay.
Right?
No.
No.
This is just public comment. So we're going to move on to our reports. So thank you very much, all of you. Trustees, Jim, do you have a report?
Planning and Zoning Commission did meet. I'll let Andres cover that in his clerk's report since he got shortchanged last month.
Danielle?
I will second what Jim said and no other additional report.
Eileen?
First of all, I want to thank, they're not here, but I want to acknowledge the members of the Economic Development Committee who have worked so hard on getting the TIF to the point where it's at now, because they really have. And I'd like to, as the mayor indicated, we have meetings once in a while with the businesses. And I'd like for you maybe to be a talker there because your enthusiasm, it needs to be captured and spread to our other business owners. So if you do that for us, I'd appreciate it.
Like I said, anything
Okay.
anything that helps the area would be, we're very encouraged to get.
Thank you.
Great, thank
The
you.
Heritage Committee has taken sort of a sabbatical for a few weeks, but we're going to start up again now that the other park is done.
Do you have a meeting date that you've put on the calendar or no, not yet?
We did, but because we got to a point where we were waiting to talk to the contractor
Okay.
about possibilities, so we couldn't go any further without talking to him, and he was caught up in, I can't say the name of the park.
Sacagawea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sacagawea. Oh, can I
Yeah.
mention one more thing? Monday is Indigenous People Day. We're Indian Head Park, so I think we should acknowledge the fact that our roots came from the peoples who were here way before we were, and thank them for what they did and acknowledge how good they are.
Thank you, Eileen, for bringing that up. Charlie?
Yes, thank you. The Finance Committee is working on the budget for the coming year. Our September 29th meeting, we worked on the police budget. Our next meeting is October 29th. We'll be working on Public Works budget for the coming year. It is an open meeting, and I also want to acknowledge that staff put together a very good schedule for the coming year as we go through the various steps for a budget. And so what we have in terms of what we're going to be working on in the coming months has been laid out by staff's budget. So thank you for that.
Christina?
I have no report, but I want to acknowledge the volunteers that are working on making the Ghouls and Goblins the success it's going to be. And they're here. Thank you.
Moving right along to the village treasurer. Do you have anything else in village before we do
No,
the
ma'am.
clerk? How about the clerk tonight, this evening? I want to miss that this evening.
I was worried there for a second. So just to kind of touch on what Eileen said about it, Monday is Indigenous Peoples Day, so that we will be closed on Monday. So don't look for us here. We're going to be closed. The other point, as Jim had brought up, was that on Tuesday, 2 days ago, we had Planning and Zoning Committee. We are continuing to work through fences and the fence, examining the fence regulations as the board has directed to us. We have our key part of discussion, besides looking at comparative data for other communities in the area and what their fence regulations were, and then also historical analysis of discussions for the village. The key point was the survey that is going to go out to all the residents in Indian Head Park. We are going to be sending a paper survey to every household. We had looked at doing it in a digital format, but the options out there were for free options were not very useful. And then on further discussion, we realized that about 2/3 of our village still pays their water bill by either check or cash. And so if that is the case, then we might be missing some input from some of our residents. We didn't want to do that. Also, it will be a much broader sampling of since we have basically sampling the entire community, we will be very, very likely to get a representative sample back that we can then base decisions on. They reviewed it. They made some minor suggestions on the survey, just kind of a little bit more informative, clarifying some things. And so we will now be stuffing those surveys in the coming, next few days to get them out as soon as possible so they can get out to the community. We'll be putting the current plan is to put a self-addressed return envelope in there as well, so you can just so residents will be able to just put them back in the envelopes and send them back into us or drop them in the box or something of the sort like that. And then we'll do analysis. And in our next November 4th PZC meeting, Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, we'll be doing analysis of the survey, as well as having a more open house discussion to hear from the community as well, and rather than looking over massive amounts of reports that the village staff has been putting together. So that is my current report.
Great. And just a reminder, on the website, Andres had some great data up that he presented last evening, which included a matrix for our neighboring, I believe, 13 or 14 municipalities and their fence regulations and what they're using with fences and what they support in their fence ordinances. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that, I believe it's online or will be online very soon.
Yeah, it's going to be online very soon. We were reviewing it a little bit there was a couple of notes.
Formatting things.
Yeah,
too.
formatting things
Yeah.
that were put on there. Thank you for reminding me. I apologize to anyone who tuned in live. There was something with YouTube, wasn't on our end. It was something on their end that our tech staff tried to make it work. It didn't work, but the entirety is now on YouTube for anyone to view if they want. So I apologize if I cut your Tuesday night entertainment short.
Well, yeah, I was able to replay the whole meeting. It was very well done. Thank you very much for all of that the information you've all been putting together. And Brandon Fleischer, our intern from NIU, has been also doing a lot of work. So we want to thank him. But please, if you guys haven't seen the data on the board, please take a moment to go look at that when we have it up. And I'm assuming we'll be reposting some of that on Facebook too, to let the public know that it's there. Also, I remind everyone the meetings for planning and zoning are being recorded on YouTube. So please take a look at those. And if you are confused about how to get YouTube playbacks or you need assistance with that, we can help you. If you do want to replay those meetings, they're it was a very good meeting, and I think it'll bring everyone up to speed on the information that's been collated on fences in Indian Head Park. Thank you. Anything else, Andres? Moving along to the village administrator.
I didn't want to be forgotten because I had promised somebody I'd talk about waste hauling. The RFP, we're hoping to get out on the street tomorrow, published, and it will be due November 7th. and reviewed throughout November and December. There may be an interview of the firms that submit proposals, and we're hoping to award that, bring it to the board with a recommendation to the December 11th meeting, which will give us time, if it is a new vendor, to transition to a new vendor before the current agreement expires in April, at the end of April 2026. We extended it. So within that, we aren't looking to change our current service drastically. So the agreement that is part of the request for proposals is based on a cleaned up version of our current contract. Our consultant with the solid waste agency did a lot of work to clean up what we have in place right now, but we didn't change how drastically. Like I said, we didn't change it really at all. It's still what we're asking people to bid on is the same type of program we have today. So that would include service on one day for most of the community. It's a different day for the Ashbrook townhomes, right? And it's modeled on that. But we have also asked people, respondents, to give us an alternate bid that would have all of the village on the same day. And my purpose in setting it up that way is to find out if there really is a price difference or not, if we have multiple days or not. The another alternate we've asked for is for them to also give a price to do those HOAs that have dumpster service, so that we would know, if we can realize some kind of benefit pricing wise from that. We are also going to ask that they give us whether they can do composting or not, offer composting. Not that the village is going to pay for composting, but it would be an option for those residents who are interested in paying for composting themselves. And then we're asking to separate out the leaf vacuuming proposal, because right now SBC does leaf vacuuming. There's only a couple of vendors that have that own a leaf vacuuming equipment. But we want to see what the pricing is with and without leaf vacuuming. We are going to include participation in the RDP, the Regional Disposal Program, which our consultant came and presented on that. And that really won't change from the perspective of residents. It won't change how your garbage is picked up or anything. It just changes where it's taken to. But the whole purpose of the Regional Disposal program is to strengthen numbers and buying power, get a better price. So it will reflect, hopefully, in the bills, in the cost for residents to participate in that. And that's what I have to say about waste hauling.
Anything else?
Yes. We're planning now. We've already started planning. Rob Verber is the chief force behind the National Night Out. Has been for the 3 years that we've done it. We're going to take a team effort. We're all here in support of Rob and getting it planned out this year. And we've already started meeting, and we've got some of our great community volunteers who are also already been thanked for their work on Ghouls and Goblins. But Amy Eckert and Kathy Lynn Myers are helping with that planning. And then finally, we're working on with the Secretary of State's office and Third Millennium, who does our water billing, sends out our water bills, produces our water bills, to make sure that we are getting the word out to all of the vehicles owners who have vehicles registered in Indian Head Park that they need to get a sticker. And then with the data from the Secretary of State, we'll be able to know what vehicles that are registered here have not gotten a sticker. So we will be pursuing that. And that's my report.
Village Attorney?
No report.
And now let's move on to department heads. Joe?
Thank you. Well, most obvious, you probably noticed when you came in, we're doing seal coating on the Village Hall Police Department parking lot. They did half of it, and they're going to do the second half of it on Sunday. We wanted to make sure that we could keep business operational here, so they're going to come in on Sunday to do that, and also seal coat the water tank in the back of the pump house. As far as the pump house goes, the roof was completed under budget. They did a great job on that. The chlorine switch from gas to liquid project is moving along. Strand brought in on Tuesday the permit for me to sign to send to the IEPA, and their wait period to get the permit back to us is usually between 24 and 60 days. Being as it's a smaller project, Strand seemed to think that we'd probably be on the lower end of that, get that back, and then we'll get that moving forward and getting it out to bid and move forward with that project. Tree planting program with the grant and so forth is moving forward. Our trees have been picked out, planting locations. They will be planted at the end of this month. We have a nursery picked out. And we're getting some pretty good costs on that, so we can make sure that we're spending all of the funds to get the matching grant in the spring. So this will be a good test to see what we come in at for the fall planting. The Tree and Landscape Advisory Board meeting, the next one we're going to have, which is, do we have a date on that one? November. Right. So when we have that meeting, Thomas Brennan is going to come in and present our program for our trees and trimming and so forth. He'll have some pretty good information, so we'll be going by that going forward. In-house, we did some storm repairs in various areas of the town. We also, the village sold a 2015 Ford Explorer on municipal bid. They came and took care of that yesterday. We had also obviously mentioned the Halloween event. Brian over at Public Works was able to find 100 small pumpkins for $100. So they were delivered today. So we have 100 small pumpkins for decorating. That's kind of one of the booths we were talking about setting up. We just need to order the paint pens, and we'll be set to go with that portion of it. And then on staff note, Bobby Hernandez just had his first year anniversary with us, and he's doing a great job. So that's my report.
The Tree and Landscaping Committee is November 19th.
And I think IDOT will be there. We need to confirm
Yes.
that, but they will be there.
They have been invited and said they're coming.
Great. Chief?
Well, I'm extremely excited about hearing about the restaurant and who's owning it, because I have been to Bella Mia on several occasions. I try to go there when Richie Doyle's not there, but it's a nice place. It's a beautiful place. If you haven't been, it is really, really nice.
We've heard that.
Burkhart's next door sells really good pork steaks, in case anyone needs some food from there. But the bar that you're talking about, that Sullivan's, was a nice place, and then the absentee owner bought it, and then they had a lot of riffraff in there, up to and including a shooting. So you worked with I remember you worked with the chief of police and the mayor and got that closed down, which was a great thing, because it's really, really nice what you've done there. So I hope we do the same here.
Yeah, I was owner of Sullivan's, and again, it's a family-owned, operated business, and did a wonderful job, but it was just, at that point, I had 7 restaurants, and it was just too much. And sold it to Cheers, and they were absentee owners. Once you get an absentee owner business, a liquor establishment, you're just begging for trouble.
That was a problem. Yeah, they had the late license. Anyhow, you did a great job with it, and I highly recommend. I'm glad that you're a good part of this too, because it'll be nice. If it's anywhere as nice as Bella Mia, it'll be a really nice place. Real quick, I just talked to Gavin about getting a grant writer. We're going to work on that. We're going to get some gas masks. We have them, but we got to get them fit tested. They've never fit tested them here. So if we're going to be if it keeps, civil unrest keeps going, we're going to need to be able to make sure that the masks properly sealed if we do have to deploy, which we haven't been asked to, but just in case. We're getting the vehicle repaired. The squad that got totaled, we got the new one getting worked on. Hopefully it'll be ready soon. I still got to get it striped. The speed cameras, we relocated one for, was on Pontiac southbound. We moved it to northbound to get some more data at the request of some of the citizens. Well, it's gonna get done. We requested to get it. I think you just requested today, right? Yeah. So we'll get that relocated. We'll get some data there. The other ones are still in service, and there's some data that, but basically it's the same at any time. You got to go from 7:30 to 9, and from about 5 to 6:37 is when you're going to get the main amount of speeders, people going to work and coming from work. So we'll do our best to get officers in those areas because there's several areas. We're also going to look at the bus stop because there's I was talking to a citizen, and my pet peeve is when people go around a stop sign that's put out for on the buses when kids are loading and unloading. So we've monitored that every morning and every afternoon, and we're going to keep monitoring it for the whole year. Shift picks are in place for next year. It's all scheduled out. The flock cameras, one's at Black Hawk Park, the live fixed one. One is a pan tilt zoom. We just need to get electric to it. Sacagawea Park has the fixed camera. It's in place. And the 7-Eleven has the pan tilt zoom. That's all I got.
Chief, can I ask you a question, please? With regards to the lit crosswalk on Wolf Road that's in between Hiawatha and Sacagawea, what's the policy on if someone pushes that button because they wish to cross the street and cars continue to drive through?
The policy is that if we're there, they should be cited.
Okay.
Because the pedestrians have the right of way, and if it's lit up.
And that's at all times, right? Like that's not just a school time crossing, that's 24-hour crossing.
Right.
Okay.
Does it happen a lot, do you think?
It happens. I mean, I used it 4 times yesterday between 6 and 7:30 p.m. And 3 of those times cars continued to go through. There was an officer sitting at the Heritage Center lot at that time, and no one was. It was a little unnerving. The cars were flying through, and I was trying to cross with my dog. Someone did finally stop, but it happens. It happens quite frequently.
Sure.
So I just think that if maybe we could ask if there's an officer there, if they could maybe be extra aware of when someone's crossing. And
Here, so they should do something.
yeah, and I mean, it's a great opportunity to ticket people and make them be like, hey, please pay attention. Educate them. Educate them. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yes, and that was one of Mr. Chris's comments in that email. It was that light.
Yeah.
I didn't hear a bus comment because there's only one district that has buses, and that's the high school district. Highlands doesn't have any buses.
Well, when I spoke to him, he was concerned about the kids crossing and then the buses and the signs. We had a nice
Okay.
conversation. It might not happen there, but
Yeah.
that was one of his concerns as well.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. Anything else, Chief? Or you?
That's all I have.
Alrighty, well, hearing that there is no more department head information, I would like a motion for adjournment, please.
I'll second.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank
Thank
you.
you.